everyone, 2 questions I frequently get asked down in the comment section are what equipment do you use and what is your process for creating videos? Well, today we're gonna go behind the scenes and we're gonna answer those 2 questions. So let's talk about it. So when I think about my process for making videos, it's not all about the day of the shoot and the day that I posted. It's an ongoing process that spans the entire year where I collect ideas, then I try and execute them with excellence and post them in a manner that people actually see them. So as I go through this, I'm going to talk about brainstorming, planning, writing, filming, editing, and then posting as well. The full spectrum of the whole thing. And one final thing before we get started, I'll have links down below in the comment section of all the equipment, software that I use so you can just know specifically what it is and a link to Amazon. If you purchase it using those links, it helps me out because those are affiliate links. So please consider doing so. With that said, let's go ahead and get started talking about brainstorming. So the key thing to having a channel that consistently puts out interesting content is you have to constantly have a stream of great, fresh, new ideas. Talking about movies and TV, some of the content's pretty easy to generate because it's just a review of a movie that just came out, an analysis of a movie that just came out, a ranking of a franchise that just came out. But beyond that, to have fresh, clever ideas, you really have to kind of dig deep to try and get ahead of things. So for me, before the year started, I brainstormed 104 different ideas for videos that weren't movie reviews or TV reviews. They were all ranking videos, top 10, how to fix, other kinds of content. And 104 came from 2 ideas for videos per week of the year. And so I just try to list them all out. I also went through the entire release calendar of movies for the entire year and listed out every wide release movie coming out by the date and started mapping out the different rankings that could go with each week of the year before the year even started. Likewise, I keep an ongoing list in Evernote of all the ideas you guys list in the comment section, like, hey, you should do this. Hey, you should do this. I just keep an ongoing list in Evernote of those ideas, of new ideas that I come up with. So I have a constant stream of ideas on any given week of what I can do. And I like to think of it as having a bunch of buckets out there to collect ideas. And so as I hear something, I put it in this bucket, and I have put something over here in this bucket. So whenever I need ideas, there's different buckets I can go to for the ideas that I've kind of put out there. From there, we'll move on to the planning section. And what I try to do is I map out what I want to do with my channel about 3 months in advance. Going into the year, I mapped out the whole year and I had different calendars of the main release dates for different movies, but I try and look really specifically at 3 months in advance. What are the big franchises that have a movie coming out? What rankings can go along with it? Which Marvel Netflix show is coming out so that I can do rankings along with that one? I try and map out the clever ideas about 3 months in advance, especially when I get 1 month out. I try and fill out every day of the month or know why I don't have something or know where I want to fill something in. And I have a pretty good idea of the big videos about 3 months in advance. And so just try to constantly keep ahead of where I need to be looking ahead so I can be watching movies when I have free time. When my wife's out of town so I can watch a bunch of horror movies, I'll watch some horror movies she would never want to watch with me, take a bunch of notes, and be prepared for when I can rank those ones, when I have them on my calendar to do things like that. And when I think about scheduling things out, I don't lock myself in. The purpose of those calendars and planning things out is to help me be proactive. Help me be proactive in thinking about what I want to do, what I need to watch. So that's the purpose that I do it. And I'll drop things, I'll add things left and right. I'm very flexible, but I want to be proactive, so I'm always having fresh ideas in my mind. From there, we'll move on to the writing process. And for me, I don't write a lot of notes for most of my reviews or even my ranking videos. Most of the time, I have an outline perhaps. Some movies, I don't even do much of an outline. I just have a pretty good idea what I want to talk about with it. Other ones where there's a little bit more in-depth things to it, or if I have a really good insight about the movie, I'll have some notes, I'll have a couple sentences, or maybe it'll say sound, John Krasinski, stuff like that. It'll just be bullet points so that as I'm doing my videos, I can have Evernote open right here in front of me, and I can just do that, and I just can talk for a couple minutes about John Krasinski. Boom. He was on The Office. Speaking of The Office, hey, I've got DVDs for The Office right there. And like with my ranking videos, the vast majority of the time, I just have the ranking in front of me. I've rewatched all the movies recently. Sometimes when there's like 19 movies, like with the Pixar ones, I'll probably put notes on something like that. With the MCU though, I've like rewatched all of them recently. I have fresh thoughts on every MCU movie. I don't write a whole lot when it comes to shooting most of my videos. From there, let's move on to my filming process. And I shoot in this room right here, which used to be my daughter's room. Then our kids decided they wanted to share a room, and therefore we moved them into one room. So this room was freed up to become an office. So if you want to view my view from all of this, this is what I'm seeing. I'm shoot with a Logitech 920C. It's only like $50-$60. My camera is the Blue Yeti USB mic. Very cool little mic that I thoroughly enjoy that makes my process nice and simple. And then the reason that I'm constantly squinting my videos is because there's these three bright lights shooting in my eyes from right there, plus a halogen lamp over there, just putting a bunch of ambient light in the room. And if you've been around my channel for a long time, you can see some green poster board on the wall. My old videos were shot in front of a green screen, and that's the last remnants. I haven't even torn the whole thing down. But so when it comes to filming, I record directly into my laptop since I'm using a webcam to film everything. I record into QuickTime. And my process for filming is essentially I hit record, and whenever I start, I clap. And whenever I have a good take, I clap at the end of it. And so what that does is it puts a little spike in the audio feed. And so when I'm editing, I can see that on the audio line to know where to cut. And so I know that everything before that clap right there is good footage, and I just cut all the junk in between it. I know which takes are bad if there's not a clap at the end of them. And so that's actually one of the reasons I don't do more blooper videos, because in my editing process, all the stuff where there's big bloopers and stuff, I delete it before I even look at it. In a few of my older videos, when I didn't put as much time into my editing, you can find stuff in there where it like awkwardly pauses and then I clap and then I repeat what I just said before. That's because I oopsied in my editing process and left in some of these little nuggets of how my process works. So as for how long does it take me to shoot a video, a review that's 7 to 10 minutes long will normally take me about 25 minutes to shoot. A ranking video that's 10 minutes long, where I talk about all the MCU in 10 minutes, that'll take me about 90 minutes to shoot that. Like those will take a good while because I have to say everything so concisely and so clean without messing anything up. My Marvel reviews that I do on Mondays, the Journey to Marvel's Infinity War, those ones take about 45 minutes to shoot one. They're more podcast style. It's supposed to kind of play out a little bit longer. So I don't know if there's anything else to say about the filming process. So there you go. From there, my editing process, the key thing that I do is I use extensive templates in my process. And so basically what I did is I synced up some Adobe Photoshop files with Adobe Premiere and Adobe After Effects. So like when I do my rankings, the way that the graphics appear in the video is I open up Photoshop and I drop the posters or I drop the pictures of the characters into a Photoshop file that's numbered, the graphic is called number 1, next one's called number 2, and then it shows up in the video just perfectly fine for me. Or my intro video for my movie reviews, I have a file called Movie Poster that I just, in Photoshop, that I just drop movie posters into it, then it shows up in an After Effects file that everything's just kind of laid out. And then I go to, when I have a new movie to create, I go open Adobe Premiere, and I have a template for Marvel reviews, I have a template for movie reviews, I have a template for ranking videos, where I've already put in all 17 ranking numbers. I've already put in my good, bad, the ugly type tags. I've already put in my lower thirds. I've already put in my end card. So all I have to do is cut out all the junk footage from the video and sync everything up with the footage above it to make everything easier, cleaner, not having to repeat work. And so that's a big thing in my process was when I figured out I need to create templates and create really good templates. And I'm actually going to update my templates probably in about a week, or I'm going to update them hopefully before Infinity War comes out. So final piece in all of this is posting my videos. And this is kind of the process where when you're a YouTuber, you have to work really hard to come up with titles that entice people. You have to work really hard to come up with graphics that people see it and they go, I want to see that because that looks professional and that touches on something I'm interested in. And then because of the way YouTube works, it kind of reads through your description that you write in there. So I try and write as thorough of a description as I can, and I'll put the full cast and crew for movies. If I'm doing a ranking video, I'll put the list of all the movies I'm ranking, sometimes the cast and crew of every movie that's being ranked in it, just so that YouTube kind of goes into it and they read all that information and they can appropriately recommend my videos to people because I put all that data in there. And then they have tags below it. And once again, I fill all that out using the description. And sometimes I write tags and I go, ooh, that should go in the description. And so try and write something so YouTube has as much information as possible to appropriately recommend my video to other people. There you go. That's kind of my process from brainstorming to planning to writing my little notes out, filming, editing, and then eventually posting it for you wonderful people to see it. If you guys were interested in this content and want more like this, go ahead and tell me down below in the comment section. If you're interested, I can create more like this, and I like to help people out. And I know I'm interested in how other people create their what's their process for making all this stuff. So that's why I thought this would be fun to answer for you guys. And if you're new to my channel, this is an interesting video to start with. I do movie reviews, TV reviews, ranking videos. On the occasion, I do videos like this one talking about my process of creating things, but I don't want to just talk about movies or my creative process. I want to talk about it with you. So join me down in the comment section. Let's have a lively discussion. Give me your tips, ask your questions away. Let's have some fun with all that fun stuff. And as always, thank you for watching.